Namaste to one and all. This is Madhuri at Science at Your Tips. Today we have the lesson Chemical Reactions and Equations from our NCERT 10th class syllabus. So coming to this lesson, actually we have the lesson about what are the different types of chemical reactions, what is a chemical equation and how to balance them. But if you want to write the chemical reaction, we should know how to write formula of a compound, and we have to know what are the reactants, what are the products in a reaction, how to separate them, how to write them in the equation. So that is why first I want to start the lesson how to write this formula. What is the importance of the formula? So as you know that already in our periodic table we are given with many number of elements, 118 elements, their symbols, their atomic number, their name and all the remaining properties also are mentioned there. Like, so in these symbols, whatever are there for the elements, when these elements are combining, they are going to form the compounds. These compounds, how we have to represent? We are representing with the help of formula. Elements are represented with the help of shorthand notation, which is called as a symbol. Compounds are represented with the help of formula. Same like that, chemical reaction is represented with the help of the chemical equation. This is a shorthand notation of a chemical reaction. So chemical equation will contain all symbols and formulas. So as in our previous classes, we have learnt already how to write the symbols. So let us go directly into the topic formula. After that, we will go to our actual lesson. So coming to this, what is a formula? Formula is nothing but it is a shorthand notation of a compound. Shorthand notation of a compound. But as you know that these compounds, they may have ionic bond or they may have covalent bond. So based on that, metal and non-metal are present. We are saying that as ionic compound. These ionic compounds will have ions. Those ions will combine together to form the compound. So this compound formula, if you want to write, we should know what is the symbol of the particular metal, particular non-metal. What is the charge present on that? What is the valency of that particular element, particular ion there present in the ionic compound? Then we can write the formula. So these compounds, whatever are formed, first we should know what type of the compounds they are. By observing the name of that, we can identify metals and non-metals are there, ionic compound, only non-metals are there, covalent compound. Now, coming to the types of formula. Here, these types of formula, if you see, we have mainly we can say three types of formulas are there. The one is molecular formula. Most of us, we know already this. Molecular formula. When it is a molecule, like if you have an ionic molecule, if you have an ionic compound, we'll write the formula of that. We'll show in the form of formula units. Like NaCl, we are writing the formula for sodium chloride. That means it's not like only sodium 1 ion and chloride 1 ion is there. Surrounding 1 sodium, 6 chloride ions. Surrounding 1 chlorine, 6 sodium ions are present. But we are, while representing that, we'll write only one unit, formula unit. Like that, in this molecular formula, if you know already that the compound is a covalent compound, directly we can write what are the elements present in that. If it is ionic compound, we'll write what are the ions present in that. We'll see the examples how to write the formulas also. And the second one is empirical formula. Empirical formula. So what is this empirical formula is? To understand this empirical formula, first of all I want to give the example for molecular formula. From that I will show what is this empirical formula. Now here I will write molecular formula for glucose as C6H12O6. Here in this C6H12O6 formula, we are able to see how many number of elements are present. What are the types of elements? 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, 6 oxygen atoms are present here. So molecular formula will show us how many elements, what type of elements are present in this compound. coming to empirical formula, it will show us only the simplest ratio of the elements present in the compound. Now, what is a simple ratio? Now, here we have 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens and 6 oxygens. Now, if you want to see the ratio, 6 is to 12 is to 6. This is not the simple ratio. Still, we can make it simple. How we can make? With 6, all these are divisible. So, what you do, we can write the ratio as 1 is to 2 is to 1. So, if anybody asks you, what is the empirical formula for glucose? What is your answer? You will write the answer as CH2O. This is showing the simplest ratio of the elements which are present in the compound. So, CH2O is the empirical formula for glucose. Not only for glucose, it may be empirical formula for other also. So, it depends on what is the molecular formula. You first should know that. After that, you derive the empirical formula. You see that you divide with particular number so that you can get a simple ratio. So, CH2O empirical formula. Now, I will write some other formula here, C2H4. You know already that this is a formula we write for ethylene molecule. Ethene or ethylene. So, ethylene molecule C2H4. But what is the empirical formula for this? C2H4 is a formula known as molecular formula. Empirical formula you write now. What you write? CH2. Because see here 2 is to 4. You can make it as 1 is to 2. So, CH2 is the empirical formula for ethene or ethylene. Okay. Not only for ethylene, it is the empirical formula for others also. As I said earlier, CH2O is not only empirical formula for glucose. It may be the empirical formula for others also. We are just showing this ratio. So, by seeing empirical formula, we are unable to understand which type of, what is the name of the compound. But if you know the molecular formula, easily we can say what is that compound, because the particular number of elements are represented here in the molecular formula. Now, coming to structural formula. The third type of formula we have here, structural formula. What is the structural formula is? In this formula, we can know what is the structure. What is the structure in the sense? Surrounding the atom, how many number of atoms are there, what type of bonds are formed, all these we can see. Now, I will take the same example, C2H4, which is the formula for ethylene. In this ethylene, we have written molecular formula C2H4. We have written empirical formula CH2O. Now, I will show how to write structural formula. Here to write this structural formula, what we should do is, we should know what are the different bonds present in these. Now, here in this ethylene, we know already that carbon can form 4 bonds. Surrounding carbon, 4 bonds are possible. Okay? And here if you see in this ethylene molecule, we have hydrogens also. Each hydrogen can form 1 bond. Like that, based on that, if you see, carbons 2 are there. And each hydrogen can form 1 bond. So, hydrogen to carbon, 1 bond is there. 4 bonds are completed here. Carbon surrounding, if you see, 1 and 1. 2 bonds are completed here. Here also 2 bonds are completed. So, 2 more bonds will be there between carbon to carbon, which is called as double bond. Now, we are showing exact structure here. Carbon surrounding 4 bonds. Double bond between 2 carbons. Carbon to hydrogen, single bond. These all we are showing here. This becomes our structural formula. Same like that, we can show for other molecules also. If you are taking glucose, there one aldehyde is there, CHO, carbon to oxygen double bond will be there, and remaining carbons will have one side hydrogen, one side hydroxyl group, that is OH. Like that it will be continued. Okay. So, like that we have here 3 different types of formulas. Formulae, actually the word is formulae, molecular formula, empirical formula, structural formula. How many number of elements are there? What type of elements are there? Molecular formula. What is the simple ratio? Empirical formula. How many bonds are there? What type of bonds are there? What is the structure? Structural formula. Like this you can know the information. Now once we will see how to write this molecular formula. First of all we will see about how to write ionic compound formula. Most of you know already But once recollect what we have learned, because it is very, very important for us when you want to write the formulas. If you want to write, means if they are giving in the exam word equations, you should be able to write the formula first. If you are writing formula wrong, then your balancing will go off, your marks also, you are going to lose your marks also. So that is why once we'll try how to write these molecular formulas. Okay. So let us start that. So coming to how to write molecular formulas. You know already that ionic compounds will have ions. These ions are of two types. Positive ion, which is also called as cation, will carry the positive charge. Negative ions, which are having negative charge, also called as anions. So these cations and anions, if they are having only one atom, we can call them as monoatomic ions. If they are containing more than one, we can call them as polyatomic ions. And if the valency is 1, monovalent ions. If the valency is more than 1, divalent, trivalent, tetravalent, altogether polyvalent. So, based on the number of atoms, monoatomic, only one atom is there. If more than one atom is there, polyatomic. Okay, same like that. If only +1 or -1 is there, monovalent. Monovalent ions. If more than 1, +2, +3, -2, -3, -4, like that, those are called as polyvalent ions. Polyvalent again can be classified into divalent, trivalent, tetravalent, pentavalent, like that. So, coming to monoatomic, most of us we know already what is a monoatomic ions, what are the examples of that. Now I am taking here Na plus, the very familiar example, sodium ion, chloride ion, bromide ion, potassium ion, these are. In this, these two you know already they are cations, these are anions. Whichever are carrying the negative charge, they can be called as anions. Which are carrying positive charge, they can be called as cations. Polyatomic I am taking here, I will take ammonium ion. I said here I will take atoms more than 1. They may carry -2, -4, +1, -2, something else. But I am just showing the difference between monoatomic, polyatomic. Only that one I am showing here. So polyatomic NH4 plus ammonium ion, PO4 3- phosphate ion, SO4 2- sulfate ion. Like this, we can write the polyatomic ions. I am showing very few because you know already in 9th class you got it. Many number of ions. Now once you see monovalent ions. Monovalent means they will carry only one charge, +1 or -1. The same we can write under this, or also something else, Li plus, lithium plus. Next fluoride minus. All these are containing only one charge. I can write even NH4 plus also. Why I am writing like this? I said monovalent, only one charge is there. I did not say atoms wise. I said here this classification based on valency. What is the valency here? The valency is +1. So monovalent ions, under that we can write ammonium ion also. But we can't write phosphate ion because it is carrying -3. So here polyvalent ions, many of the students will confuse polyvalent and polyatomic. That's why I am showing like this. If I want to write polyvalent ions, S2- I can write. Sulfide ion. Sulfide ion is carrying -2 charge. That's why I have written under polyvalent ion. But sulfide ion, if you want to classify under this one, polyatomic or monoatomic, we have to write under monoatomic only. S2- you can write under monoatomic because it is containing only one atom. That atom only contains a -2 charge. So S2- polyvalent I have written. P3-. This also can be written under monoatomic ion and also polyvalent. Phosphate ion, I am writing here. Sulfate ion, I am writing here. Sulfite ion. Like this, you can write these all examples. Again, this can be classified under divalent if they are having -2 + 2, trivalent +3 - 3. Like that, we can continue the classification. Okay. So, here polyatomic also depends on the atomicity. As you know, atomicity is nothing but the number of atoms present in the formula. Maybe the formula of ion or it may be the formula of the compound. So, here the number of atoms are more than 1. That's why polyatomic name is given. Here, the charge we are writing more than 1. That's why we are writing the name as polyvalent. Now, we'll see some examples how to write the formulas by using our very familiar method, criss-cross method. Different examples we'll try. Okay. Now, let us see some examples here. These are the examples we have here. Some more also we'll discuss. Let us complete these first. Sodium chloride, the very easy one. Na plus. Sodium is the metal present here, which is the cation. And just to remember, in many of the compounds, many of the ionic compounds, we will write metal, cation, after that anion. Only in the organic compounds, we will write anion first, followed by the cation. Only in the organic compounds. In all the remaining inorganic compounds, we will write cation first, followed by the anion. Na plus, also written as Na plus 1, chloride -1 or just simply minus. Now crisscross. This number should be written here, this number should be written here, as it is only 1 and both are same. That's why no need to write any number, just simply write this NaCl. If you want to write any number, write it as a subscript. But we are not writing anything here. Now we'll go for magnesium oxide. Magnesium 2 plus, oxygen 2 minus. Here also both the valences are same. So just cancel that. Write together. Becomes a magnesium oxide formula. Now we'll go for sodium oxide. Na plus 1. Oxygen 2 minus. Oxide ion 2 minus. What do you do? Crisscross. See, it's not same. The valences, whatever we have written, it is not same. So that's why we have to go for crisscross method. What is the number here present as a superscript? Make it as a subscript for the before one. What is a superscript here? 1. So no need to write anything here. What you do? Just to bring this 2 here. Bring both the cation and anion together and write this 2 number here down for sodium. Na2O. That becomes the formula for sodium oxide. Now let us go for magnesium chloride. Magnesium 2 plus, chloride -1. Without writing -1, it is understood it as -1 only. So magnesium 2 plus, Cl -1. So what you do? 2 you have to bring towards the chlorine. First of all, write both of the cation and anion together. Write this superscript, which we have written in the form of valency, that you write here. MgCl2 becomes a formula for magnesium chloride. Coming to aluminium oxide. Here, aluminium valency is 3 plus, oxide valency 2 minus. Both are not same. That's why what we have to do? Write this number as a subscript for oxygen and write this number as a subscript for aluminium. The valency of aluminium is written as a subscript for oxygen and valency of oxygen written as a subscript for aluminium. So Al2O3 is a formula for aluminium oxide. Now we'll see ammonium phosphate. NH4 plus, as we have seen, it is a monovalent polyatomic ion. Monovalent polyatomic ion. Phosphate, PO4 3 minus. Monovalent, what is it? Polyvalent polyatomic ion. Now what you do here? +1, here -3. And many times students will change this subscript, what is there already for the symbol or for the ion. So don't change it. So just put a bracket here. If you think that you will be confused, so just put a bracket for NH4, because many number of atoms are there here. If you are writing some subscript outside, no, you put a bracket here compulsory. Then you write the subscript here, what you want to write. If you are not writing any subscript, no need to write any bracket here. Otherwise, you have to write the bracket. Then write PO4 outside. Now for PO4, no need to put any bracket because you are not writing any subscript outside. So NH4 taken thrice PO4 is the formula for ammonium phosphate. So like this we can write the formulae by using criss-cross method. Okay, and covalent compounds we have to write based on what is the name of that, how many bonds are there between them, how many number of elements are reacting together. Based on that, ionic compounds, you should know what are the cations and anions present in that, what is the valency of that. Based on that we can write the formulas. Like this, molecular formulas we can write it in this manner. In the next session we will continue the lesson. Thank you everyone.